Hello and welcome back. Now, tension is rising over recent developments in Niger, which represents the last of the three Central Sahel states to succumb to a military coup on July 26, 2023. Recognizing Mohamed Bazoum as a legitimate president, the ECOWAS authority rehashed its earlier resolution to explore all measures necessary to restore democratic governance in that country, including the use of force. Now, aside the 7-day ultimatum, the bloc at a summit now also imposed immediate sanctions on Niger, including the closure of land and air borders between member states and Niger. The West African Economic and Monetary Union has also imposed immediate sanctions and frozen Nigerian state assets. Now, other resolutions at the end of the summit included a stern warning that if the coup plotters fail to restore political stability in 7 days, ECOWAS might use force. Many have, however, cautioned over last week's resolution of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of States and Government in handling the military coup in Niger Republic. In a joint statement on Monday, Burkina Faso and Mali warned that any military intervention against Niamey would be considered a declaration of war against their nations. The reactions in support of Niger from the junta-led states have set the stage for a deeper divide and potential breakup of the West African bloc. Former Director, Department of State Services, DSS, and security consultant Dennis Amakri now joins us on the program. Mr. Amakri, thank you very much for joining us on the program. How tricky a situation is Niger for the ECOWAS bloc?
Well, it's very critical, but like you said, there is serious tension that is going on. And that tension will affect Nigeria more than it's going to affect others. And remember, Nigeria is surrounded by Francophone countries, and 3 of the Francophone countries have already declared that they are going to support Niger, if Niger is attacked. So we are in a very dire situation at this moment.
I would think that the 2 countries that have actually declared their support would be would be Mali and Burkina Faso, and they are not our next door neighbors anyway.
That even makes it worse, because if people far-flung are declaring, there are others that are near us that will, like to support.
But let's face it. I mean, do you expect that these countries, Mali and Burkina Faso, were not going to come out in support of the coup in Niger, considering what happened in their own country?
If you go back in history, you'll find out that when Mali had their coup, Nigeria actually, through ECOWAS again, sent our former president, Jonathan, to go there and talk to them. That talk was not successful because the coup continued, and they took over the government and remained there. So right now, for Niger to come up again, and then we are trying to, give, because remember, they can say it's ECOWAS, but the Malians and the others, the Francophone countries, they see it as a Nigerian, because the chairman of ECOWAS is Nigerian, and then of course they feel that, in fact, yesterday, you can see the demonstration that went on in Niger, where the Nigerian president pictures were put on the poster and they were, abusing him and stuff like that. So it is something that affects us more than it will affect the other, ECOWAS members.
Now, ECOWAS, of course, sent a delegation to Niamey. The former military leader of Nigeria, Abdul Salami, was dispatched to Niamey, as well as the Sultan of Sokoto. And when they got there, they couldn't meet with the junta leader, that's General Tiani, and they're back in the country. Does that mean, What options do you think ECOWAS now has? I mean, since this has failed?
I think ECOWAS have to back down. ECOWAS have to back down. I think they made a fundamental mistake when ECOWAS, after condemning the coup, went ahead and gave them ultimatum. They shouldn't have given them any ultimatum. Just like the African Union, tell them, look, hand over to civilian rule. This kind of government is not good for your people and everything. And then start negotiating. Because, you see, the United Nations recognize Niger as a sovereign nation. And there is no way you can go and invade it and think that, or you can impose your policies on them.
Well, is this about imposition or about defending democracy? I mean, you look at the series of coups we've had in the region. Of course, certainly, it doesn't speak well of the region. And the truth is that if you allow this to continue, you never can tell where it will end up.
I know. It might be both of the things you said. It might be to defend democracy or the governments that are, occupying the other heads of states, because they know that if this thing succeeds, it will move next to another country.
Of course, and that's exactly what we have seen. When it started from Mali, it moved to Burkina Faso. We also saw it in Guinea.
Yes, because in fact, forget about the recent history. If you go back to the 60s and the early 70s, you find out that when most of the majority government in West Africa were military governments, and it started from this same Mali to Guinea, Guinea to Burkina Faso, Burkina Faso to Ghana, Ghana to Togo, Togo to Nigeria, Nigeria all the way like that. So this is like a resurgence where we are having that same
and you don't think that should be stopped by any means necessary?
Well, you see, people have decided, or there is this general opinion that democracy is the best form of government. Now, if democracy is the best form of government, that means it should answer all the problems when it says that it is a government for the people, by the people, for the people, by the people, and, So if this is the case, people say, okay, fine, that is the kind of government everybody wants. And you see that in the first round of military coups, when they were there trying to,
are you in essence saying that the Nigerians have said this is what they want?
Did you see the demonstration out there?
Yeah, I mean, you of course, naturally, you would expect that some people would support the coup, but there are others too who would not support, but they may not be able to come out because they're scared, and they'll be in their numbers.
Like they said, majority votes take the ground, right? Those people you see are a lot of Nigerians.
And can we say that everybody we saw there supports the coup?
There. They were voluntarily, they came out, voluntarily. So I believe strongly that it's a popular coup, because let me tell you something. Our original master coup plotter in Nigeria said it, and I'll quote him. That's General Babangida. He said, no coup can succeed if the people don't support it. Do you understand? So no coup can succeed. If a coup succeeds, then know that the people are behind it. The civilian populations are behind it. So if for a coup to succeed anywhere, know that the people are behind it.
The reason I ask that question is because you would expect that, yes, some members of the opposition would support this, and the truth is that you don't expect that the civilian government in that country would have the support of everyone in the country. But does that still excuse what has happened?
Well, you find out that, yes, even the devil have friends, So when it comes to situations like this, people of the opposition who are in government, who were enjoying in any country, you find out that, whether it's a good government or a bad government, especially when it's a bad government, there are people who are still enjoying that government. And those people that are enjoying the government will not want to, give up. And they might go underground for a while, But are they bigger than everybody else? Remember that this coup was started by the Brigade of Guards, not the general military.
Yes.
It was by the Brigade of Guards. And then after a while, I think 1 or 2, 3 days, the rest of the military joined in, So you find out that it is not a matter of there are opposition there. There are no opposition there. And basically the problem is the fundamental issues of security, insecurity, fundamental issues of poverty, unemployment, and stuff like that. Niger is one of the poorest countries in the world. Meanwhile, they have deposits of uranium, which French is just taking away all the time. And that's why you saw them burning down the French embassy.
Does the French government just go there to take away this thing without any kind of... They pay for them anyway, but that's just by the way. But let me just quickly ask you this. What do you think, how do you think ECOWAS should handle this? Just let things be the way they are and just say, okay, that's your choice, that's what you people want, and then you can have it. You can have have the military government you want.
Like the first one you spoke about, there is no need to encourage military coups. So ECOWAS is on the right path to say that, look, we don't want military coups. That is fine. But when we don't want military coups, then they should also go and do some house cleaning. House cleaning in the sense of making sure that because what causes it? Poverty, unemployment, all these kind of things that are happening. So go ahead and clean up your house, and at the same time talk to these coup people that that you should reason with everybody else. By coming down to, or handing over government to a democratically elected government. And you cannot do that by threatening or forcing anybody.
All right, Dennis Amakri, thank you very much for coming on the program, and thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll take a short break, but coming up, agreement between the federal government and NLC following the nationwide strike. That will be our next topic in focus. Stay with us, don't go away.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the president of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI360, dissecting the issues.